There you go, love.
Okay. So we're all reading self-development books. We're all reading all kinds of things. That is where I get most of my inspiration from, for my posts, for my day-to-day life, for giving other people advice. I start my day with my Bible and a chapter in whichever 100th book I'm reading. And this one is called The Spiritual Leader. It is by Paul Chappell. I think it's Chappell. I'm butchering it. I don't care. If you want it, I can send you the link. Super affordable. There's a lot of other like spiritual, faith-based, self-development type books that he has on there, and even devotionals if you want a daily devotional. But I've been reading this one, and I read this chapter the other day, Overcoming Barriers in Ministry. Now the book is about growing your church, soul winning and stuff like that. But what do we always say? Take what you need, leave the rest. Because you know your girl's not preaching on no mountain nowhere, building no church. That ain't happening. So I take what I need from the book and I leave the rest. It is super important. I mean, if you do go to church and that is something you want to do, this book is amazing, right? Yeah, I ain't kidding on him. I ain't preaching. I'd probably turn the CEOs down if they asked me to go on stage and talk. You have a nice time with that. But this chapter like really spoke to me a lot, because it was overcoming barriers. So I called this Breaking Barriers, because of that. And I apply this to our business, but I also apply this to my life, my growth, and my family and my house. So it's not just building a church. Take what you need and leave the rest, right? Where do you need to grow in your life and what do you need to do to get there? You need to be a leader in your home, right? This will help you be that leader in your home. You need to be a leader in your business, right? Got to be a leader in your business. You got to be a leader somewhere. Even if you live by yourself and you're working full time, you need to be your own leader. You need to step up into your life, right? So I highlighted some things in this, and I have notes and all the stuff, but so the question that we always ask ourselves is, why is my business not growing? Why is my marriage not growing? Why am I not growing, right? Okay. It's not, is my business growing? Is my marriage growing? It's, is my business healthy? Is my marriage healthy? Are my kids healthy? Is my family healthy? Because a tree is not going to grow if it's not healthy, right? So you have to, it is breaking down the things to find out what's not healthy about it and get to it. And I'm going to get into that because it's going to be talking about the barrier of indifference, and addressing these barriers requires things that we're not all gifted in. Okay, like girl does not have patience. But addressing the barriers that's stopping you from growing or stopping that area of your life from growing is going to require patience and courage and wisdom and honesty and strategy, right? You got to teach yourself to lead yourself. And you have to address the indifference, okay? And the sooner the better. And here's a few ways, here's 3 ways that I believe God leads us to deal with indifference, okay? First, you have to detect the decline, okay? Say the decline is your kids getting bad grades in school. All right, there's always a reason for that. So you have to detect, address what the issue is. Then you got to pray for wisdom, okay? Whether you're a faith person or not, you got to like try to figure out a strategy. You got to figure out like, how can I do this, right? And then you got to confront it, which is having a sit down with your kid, with your family, whatever, right? And you just, you got to figure it out, and you got to talk to them like, why are we getting bad grades? And this is what we're going to do to fix it, right? So whatever it is that the decline is, whatever the barrier is, it doesn't matter. If there's a hard conversation you have to have with your spouse, maybe they don't support you, right? Why don't you support me? Why don't you sit in on a Zoom with me? Why don't you see what it is we do, right? Confront it. But before you confront it, you got to pray about it. You got to figure out, prep your notes before you go live, right? Like before you have that conversation, if you need to prep your notes, do that. Whatever you have to do. If you don't pray, that's fine, but you got to prep yourself to figure out how you're going to confront this, because this is preventing you from bearing fruit in that area of your life. And we always feel good when we're busy, right? We always feel good when we're busy and our calendar is full and we think we're doing all of the things and our schedules are full of activity. But how long has it been since you really analyzed what all that activity is really producing? Okay. Those of you who know me know about the infamous green calendar. But for those of you who are new, this is the infamous green calendar. Okay. Girl, every day on here is marked with something. This is every month. This is every month. Okay. Every day I marked what I'm going to post about. Every day I marked what I'm going to post about. What am I going to go live about? What I'm going to talk about? Every single day has a topic with a hashtag to go with it. Okay. And when the month started, I set goals. I set these goals over here. I got get out 5 samples, enroll 5 auto ship customers, enroll 5 promoters on packs, and challenge yourself to show up for yourself. I showed up. I don't know what I was doing, but I showed up, right? Every single day, 30 days. I didn't send out 1 sample. I didn't enroll 1 customer. I didn't enroll 1 promoter. I didn't have 1 potential. I was busy being busy. This bared no fruit, none. At some point, you have to analyze what your activity is producing. And if it's not producing anything, where's the unhealthy part of that tree that you need to cut off so that your tree can flourish and grow? Because this, I will keep that calendar for the rest of my life, because that is a reminder of how far I've come. Don't throw out your planners that you've used to plan stuff, because that is going to be what you end up using for your future teams, for your future growth, for your future everything. Okay. So you have to analyze at some point the activity, which is why I kind of like the planning Zooms. You can literally, you have your planner open, right? How about Saturday before the Sunday morning planning Zooms, you open your planner up that you're getting ready to, take all these notes from this planning Zoom so you can plan out your week to make sure yours doesn't look like that, right? Your standard is not what you write down on paper. Your standard is what you allow in reality. We can take all the notes that we want. We can plan our weeks out. Life is going to happen. Things are going to get in the way. People are going to need surgery. Family members are going to be in hospice. Things are going to happen, right? Life happens. Your car's going to break down. So the planning Zooms are great, and planning out your week is amazing, but don't let it be a traffic jam. You know what I mean? And one of the key things is communication in every aspect of your life. Constantly keep communicating with your husband, with your kids, because let me tell you something, when you just go through the motions, when you're just going through the routines and stuff like that, if you are going to grow anything, you need structure. You need some kind of structure, you need some kind of foundation. So that is why I absolutely love it when he says in here to detect it, pray for wisdom on it, and then confront it. Because when you confront it, that's making a plan of action to fix it, right? Because your business can be growing, right? Your business can be over here growing and you're the CEO and you have all the money, but if your family's not right and if you're not right, guess who's not happy over here with all the money in the corner office? You have to find a way to align your life. There's going to be barriers that are thrown at us, but you have to find a way to align your life. Not everything is going to be perfect. Not everything is going to flow brilliantly. But if you have communication and you have strategy and you have somewhat of a plan, not a train wreck, that's foundation for success right there. Because you're growing in yourself and you're addressing situations. And I'm a car chick. I'm going to go into a car analogy. Say you have a rust spot on your car. Okay. It's going to be cheaper to take care of it now than later. Because that rust spot, if you don't take care of it, if you don't address it, if you just keep ignoring it, it's going to spread throughout the rest of your car. And it's more than just a cosmetic thing, trust me, because rust is going to, if you just don't even want to know. But so it's best to be like, okay, I have to take care of that. That is a problem situation. Let's see. All right. I'm not going to let anything distract me. That's a goal. Make that rust spot a goal for you, and you, whatever the rust spot is for your life, okay, make that a goal to have that taken care of, or it's going to spread and it's going to bear no fruit. And I think I lost my page. But yes, that is, nope, that was good. So you have to have structure, you have to have discipline, you have to have schedules, but you have to make the time to take the time, because this is amazing. This is why I love this business, because I can go to the gas station, right? And I can do my job and I can take care of my customers and I can sweep and mop the floor. But if somebody else doesn't stock the coolers, I'm kind of crap out of luck, right? If somebody else doesn't take the trash out, I can't do my job properly if somebody else doesn't do their job. That is what is so amazing about what we have here, because it's so much more than just that, right? We're here for each other. So if we have a barrier that is blocking us and we don't know how to get rid of it, we don't know how to chop off that limb so that the tree can grow, that is what we are here for. We talk about it all the time about how this is, we build our own businesses at home, and I'm building my business and mine and mine and me, but I wouldn't still be here if it weren't for leaders like you guys and Amber and Katie and Olivia. I wouldn't still be here. And Bree, like I wouldn't still be here if it wasn't for other leaders. I started this fresh out of depression. I had no growth. I had dead limbs. I needed my limbs cut off so that I could grow healthier. And I had barriers in my life that I needed to address. And I would never have done it by myself because I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the courage. I was an empty shell. And I wanted to live, and I wanted to live better, and I wanted to do better, and I wanted to be healthier, but I didn't know how. And then I started seeing Kelly's working out all the time. All right, I see that. Do a couple push-ups, no, right? Getting motivated. I see Amber at the gym. I'm like, she's got a six-pack. I'm over here with a keg. It's all good. I wouldn't be motivated if you guys didn't push me to be better. We are here for each other. We have these Zooms for a reason, not just to show you how to build your business, but to show you how, Kelly, stop, but to show you how to build yourself. You have to build yourself before you can build your family. Because yes, you can go to the soccer games, you can go to the volleyball games, you can do all of the things, you can get up and put them on the bus, you can go through the motions with your family, but if you're not taking care of you, the foundation of your house, then your family's not going to grow properly, healthy. Your family's not going to grow healthy, right? If either one of these two is faltered, your business is not going to produce fruit, right? Yeah, they all go hand in hand. Yes, I was a rotten fruit. I needed substance, and the substance was the 500 books that I'm surrounded by, but that's for Dr. Phil. But you guys got me pumped, right? You guys got me pumped, and you guys helped me break off those branches that were weighing me down so that I could freaking grow a little bit more. But you can't just go through the motions with your family and think you're okay because everybody else seems to be okay, because they're honestly not okay if you're not okay. I'm living proof for that. You cannot go through the motions of your life with your family and think that that's okay. You need to be like in your face. Hey, you okay? Did you have a good day? You getting good grades? You got a D. What'd you get a D for? You got to address stuff like as soon as it happens, like that rust spot. Because if you don't address that rust spot as soon as it happens, it's going to spread. And sorry, that's worse than chicken pox. I'd rather have chicken pox again than rust on my car. It's kind of like when you hit a pebble at your windshield. There's just a little crack, just a little crack over in the corner. It's not bothering nobody. It's not bugging nobody, right? Until it starts to spider web. So instead of getting that little crack fixed and sealed, now you have to replace your entire windshield. So you got to have structure in your life, for your life. You got to have planning, but not train wrecks. It's a learning. I don't know if that's a metaphor, if you're, I don't know. Okay. But this kind of got away from me a little bit, but if you're doing all of the things for your business or in your home, but there's still something missing, something lacking, you have to take a step back. Oh, dang, girl. My husband's an Allstate agent. That's all I can help you with. You have to address that situation dead on. Like as soon as your kid comes home with bad grades, you've got to address it, right? Or they're going to keep failing. But there's a reason they got a bad grade. There's a reason for it. So you need to find out what the reason is, and then you can fix the grade. You got to detect the problem. You got to have that sit down. You got to have that conversation with your husband or your mate or whatever, right? Like you got to have that conversation. If you're the only one in your house, if you're the only leader, guess what? If something's lacking, you got to have a hard conversation with yourself. I've had hard conversations with myself that made me cry. Like, why are you yelling at me again? Like, you got to have those hard conversations. Because I'll find myself slipping back into, ooh, that fast food place smells good. No, girl. And I'll smack myself and I'll yell at myself. Because you gotta stay on track. I answer myself back, but that again, that's Dr. Phil. But this team has helped provide structure for me to do that. Because if I ever have a question with my business or with my life, we are surrounded by women who have been there. Maybe not the same way we were there, but they've been there. So team works. Just like a church cannot grow itself, it takes a team of ministry, of pastors, of deacons, of members, of people who want to serve in it. A community, it takes all of us. Because yeah, I can be over here, I build my business at home for free, I'm building my own business, let's go. But we don't do it on our own. And a lot of people might say, well, why don't you have a 4K sales team yet? Why don't you have a 12K sales team yet? And you've been here for 2 years. Because I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. The rest is going to come. I needed the growth that I've had. I think Amber said it once. I'm glad this wasn't an overnight success for me. I am. Because I wouldn't have experienced any of this growth, discovering who I am. What? That's a thing? I can but I'm me. I already know. I like purple. I like, no. Digging deeper. What? Digging deeper. I never knew any of this. I have never experienced any of this in my entire life. And it's not just going and buying a book and thinking you've self-developed and, oh, I'm all enlightened now, I read a book. It's doing it every day. And it's discipline that, because I'm seeing other people put discipline to their lives and they're getting results. Well, I'm going to be over here and I'm going to discipline this for my life and I'm going to get results in this area because what? Never had this. And it took this team helping me cut off those dead branches so that I could grow as a person. And in God's time, the rest for the business is going to come, right? I've seen what the business can do. I have felt and experienced what the products can do. And when people like to say, I tried Thrive didn't work for me. I'm like, okay, like that's all I can say to them is like, okay, like I'm not gonna sit there and argue with them and be like, well, you was probably doing this, or this. Now I'm just like, okay, because I know that it's replacing bad habits with better habits. That's what it is. And I would not be, I'd have to check my counter, but it's been more than 750 days I've been thriving. Do you think somebody would use the same product every single day for almost 800 days if it didn't work? That's insanity. That's insanity to take the same store-bought vitamin thinking they're doing something good for themselves. But what we get to do here is educate people about that. But you're not going to educate people about that. And if you're not structuring yourself, if you're not learning, if you're not growing, because what we do here is so much more than just sell a product. And that's the part about the business that we need to share. Yeah, we can talk about the community all the time, but what has it done for you? Why are you still here if you don't have a 4K sales team yet? Why are you still here, if you don't have a 12K sales team yet? What has you still here? What do we need to evaluate and recognize? If you're not bearing fruit, what branches need to be cut off so that that area of your life can grow? I know this was all over the place. I hope I got my point across. That was pretty much it, but this is a really good book. And I think, was there something in the back? No. It's just a really good book. This was chapter 15, if I'm not mistaken. And then the very, very next chapter was about planning. And I was like, oh, that's just funny. Like, you just playing with me now. See, God likes to play with me. He's got a sense of humor. So he does that to me sometimes. But the very next chapter was a short chapter, and it was literally developing an annual plan. It was literally developing an annual plan. So it's like how we do our weekly plannings once a month. Look in your calendar. I wanted to get 5 samples out. I didn't get out 1. I need to figure out why that happened, right? Got to break off the dead branches so you can grow, babe.
All right. I love that. And I'll humble myself for a second and I will say, I'm right there with you. And I have sold no samples and signed no customers for the month of March. And if I could give you a piece of advice, is that doesn't mean that you suck, and it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you're not here to be an influencer, you're here to be a guide. And it's having that hard look at yourself and at your business and being fully accountable in every way, and being able to have that humbleness to say, you know what, like, maybe it is the way I'm showing up, and maybe it is the way I'm talking. And how can I show up differently today to help guide my audience to the answers that they need as a customer, as a promoter, potential, right? It's being able to show up in that space for them, but also understanding when there's other things going on, like the end of March, is the end of this bonus period. And if you have had any moments where you log into your back office and you're defeated by your tracker, you're upset with the amount of work that you've put in, but you don't see it reflecting in your tracker. Or maybe you see people hitting bonuses and you're just like, why is it not me? Like, I'm doing all the things, but I'm bearing no fruit. There's going to be more seasons than not in your business where you feel like you're bearing no fruit. And let that sink in. But whenever you have those moments where you're comparing yourself to somebody else, or you feel defeated, or you feel like an imposter, you guys, I went to Punta Cana in February and we closed out the month barely doing 6,000 in volume. And I felt like an imposter. And I was like, why am I here? Right. But then I look back at the couple months before that, 6 months before that, a year before that, and that's the work I put in to get that. Right. It wasn't that month in February that defined me as a leader of being worthy to go there. Right. And so you have to have that realization to look at yourself and your business as you're fully responsible for the changes that you need to make in your business. But also, like, if you find yourself in a place where you're constantly comparing, or maybe you like saw other people rank advanced and you're like not clapping for them because you find it really, really hard to celebrate somebody else when you feel like you've been working harder, then those are the moments where you need to put your phone down. And you need to go sit with yourself. You need to go spend some time with your family, and you need to work on your heart. Just like Karen was saying, like, it's that rust that you've got to take care of in your business, because otherwise you don't realize it, but you actually do show up a little superficial on social media, and people see it and they feel it and they hear it in your words when you show up, and they can feel that you're being super salesy, right? This is when we say, well, we feel like I'm being salesy, right? I don't want to feel salesy. It's when you're operating out of desperation because you're ultimately like mad at yourself because you haven't allowed yourself that space to grow, right? And no matter what season you're going through, at the end of the day, you'll push through it. And you'll get through it, and you'll come out on the other side, and you'll realize that, maybe you were being held back in a season where you felt like you were ready for the growth, but really you weren't ready for it yet. And it was preparing you for something better. So that's all I want to say at the end of this tonight. If anybody has anything else that they want to add on, feel free.
I just want to add a personal note. Most of my life, I lived self-defeated. Like, I lived in that defeated mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I was good enough for anybody else. I never thought I was as good as anybody else. So I just stayed where I was my whole life. And that led to my depression. And I never had goals. I never thought that I would achieve them. Why would that happen to somebody like me? I'm in government housing. I ain't nobody special. These are the things and the way that I talked to myself for almost 40 years. So you don't have a 4K sales team yet. Okay. What are you doing now that you weren't doing last year? How have you leveled up now from last year? What have you learned about yourself now that you didn't last year, 2 years ago? How are you living now as opposed to last week? Are you making relationships, or are you just scrolling? Are you actually talking to people? I posted something today, and it was inspired by a coworker. You're not just showing up for you. People are watching you. Your coworkers, your kids, your husband, people, your neighbors, they're watching you. You're thriving. You're talking about how you live a healthier lifestyle. but are they seeing you drink a Pepsi? Are they seeing you grab those greasy chips? And we're going to slip up. We're human, right? Even if you walk in faith, if you're a Christian, you're going to slip up. We're human. That's fine. But some people are watching you to see how you're doing it because they want something better for their lives too. I have a coworker who is so super motivated or wants to move forward, but is unmotivated as to how to do it. And he sees me every single day come in happy on Mondays. Like, who's happy on a Monday to go to work? Like, what? I am, right? Had a customer tell me to shut up because I told her I loved Mondays. And then she was like, if we worked together, you wouldn't be able to talk to me for the first 2 hours of our shift. And I'm just like, that's really sad, right? But people are watching you. So we are our own testimonies for Thrive. Okay, I posted this up in the chat, so I'm not going to go into it, but for our lives too. And for us as well. Because I may not have lost 50 pounds and have this amazing before and after on Thrive, right? But I feel good every single day because of Thrive, which motivates me to live a better way and eat a better way. That wasn't the case 2 years ago. I was eating crap. I lived in a drive-through. I was always sluggish. I was miserable. I went for those quick fixes. So it's okay if you don't have a 4K sales team and you've been here for a year or 2 years or 6 months or whatever. Where are you today that you weren't then?
Mic drop. All right, you guys, we're going to hop off here. Go enjoy the rest of your evening. I will have this uploaded. I've got some uploads to do for the rest of the night, but I love you and I will talk to you later.